Today's topic is about symmetry elements. So this comes under stereochemistry only. In this stereochemistry, we are going to discuss about symmetry elements. Okay. In the previous class, we discussed about optical isomers. Optical isomers are nothing but which contains chiral center and which contains chiral centers, and they are divided into two types. One is optical isomer are enantiomers and diastereomers. Okay, enantiomers are non-superimposable mirror images are called enantiomers. Non-superimposable non-mirror images are called diastereomers. In order to get this enantiomers and diastereomers, okay, so the compulsory condition is the molecule must be chiral. Chiral in the sense, 1 minute, let them join. 66 roll number. Okay, so chiral compound in the sense the molecule which contains 4 different functional groups around the carbon atom is called the chiral center, and the molecule should not possess any symmetry element in that. Let us see what are the symmetry elements and how can we indicate that symmetry elements in the given molecule. Symmetry elements are basically three types. One is plane of symmetry, second is center of symmetry, third is alternate axis of symmetry. Let us discuss one by one. First symmetry element is plane of symmetry. Plane of symmetry in the sense when we are taking the molecule and bisecting that molecule with imaginary line. For example, we will see by taking this example, we can see this is the molecule of ethene. So when we are putting this horizontal plane, okay, so when we are putting this vertical plane, this vertical plane is used to bisect the molecule into two equal halves. So this is the imaginary line. We are not going to cut the molecule into exactly equal halves. Just it is the imaginary line. By using this line, we can separate, we can identify two equal halves in the molecule. If such equal halves are possible, that molecule contains a plane of symmetry. If we are putting this horizontal line in this molecule, what happens? Above half exactly identical with below half. Now these two are also called as this molecule also called as contains plane of symmetry. And when we are keeping this line, imaginary line, it able to cut the molecule into two equal halves in case of dimethyl cyclohexane. Okay, so when we are taking 1,2-dimethyl as well as 1,3-dimethyl, these molecules possess plane of symmetry. When plane of symmetry is present in the molecule, that becomes optically inactive. Here we got the definition for plane of symmetry here. Plane of symmetry is nothing but a plane reflection through which identical copy of original molecule is generated. When plane is kept in between the molecule, that reflection is identical half. Okay, that plane used to cut the molecule into two equal halves is called the plane of symmetry. It is denoted with sigma. Sigma is nothing but mirror. Sigma indicates mirror because when we are cutting the molecule with that plane, so that part is exactly mirror image. Okay, here there is a possibility of vertical and horizontal two types of planes are present. So vertical plane is indicated with sigma V, horizontal plane is indicated with sigma H. So just now we saw vertical and horizontal planes here. So this is called vertical plane and this is called horizontal plane. So in this way, molecule when contains such kind of equal halves, when plane is kept in the center of the molecule, now the compound contains plane of symmetry. The second type of symmetry element is center of symmetry. The center of symmetry is also called as inversion center. It is denoted with I. For any atom in the molecule, identical atom exists in diametrically opposite with respect to the center or equal distance from that. So when we are taking the center of the molecule, from the center, if we are drawing a line towards this side, exact opposite side also having same kind of functional groups. If such a kind of diagonal similarity is there, diagonal relationship is there, so When we are drawing the line towards this carbon atom, equal line can be drawn in opposite direction if you are meeting two similar functional groups in this opposite direction. This is called inversion center, which is also called the center of symmetry. In the benzene molecule, from the center, here we can draw the line. So here center of symmetry is there, here also center of symmetry is there, here also center of symmetry is there. Let us take another molecule. From the center, if you are drawing line towards the side, exactly opposite direction, same functional group B is there. Here B is there, here also B is there. Hence it poses center of symmetry. And when we are drawing the line from this corner to this opposite corner, again identical functional groups are present. If the line drawn from the center is meeting two identical functional groups, the molecule is said to possess center of symmetry. So this is very simple. Again, even center of symmetry is present in the molecule. The molecule is if the center of symmetry is there in the molecule, that molecule also becomes optically inactive and the molecule becomes achiral. Now, let us take this cyclic compound. Cyclic amide it is. When we are taking from the center, it is meeting methyl group in one direction. Even opposite direction methyl is there. In this corner hydrogen, in the opposite corner is also hydrogen is there. Hence, it possesses center of symmetry. Here COH groups are in opposite direction. Phenyl groups are also in opposite direction. From the center, both are in equal distance. Again, this molecule is an example for center of symmetry. Very simple. From the center, if we are meeting two similar functional groups in opposite direction is called center of symmetry, denoted with I, which is also called as inversion center. This is also called as inversion center. And the next symmetry element, last type of symmetry element is alternating axis of symmetry. Alternating axis of symmetry is also called as rotation followed by reflection axis. We have to rotate the molecule. Further, it should be reflected with the mirror, so that it is called the alternating axis of symmetry. It is denoted with SN. Okay. So axis of symmetry is best explained by taking this molecule. Okay. So when we are taking this molecule, we have cyclic four-membered ring. On this four-membered ring, we have carboxylic acid, phenyl, again carboxylic acid, phenyl functional groups are there. We are rotating the molecule 180 degrees. When 180 degrees rotation is possible, this group comes 90 degrees. What happens? COH comes to next position. More 90 degrees, COH comes to this position. That's the reason why this functional group present at this corner come to the exact opposite corner. Now this COH goes to first followed by second corner. That is nothing but exactly opposite corner. And this pH group rotated towards this opposite corner, and this pH group is rotated towards this opposite corner. This is about 90 degrees rotation. During the 90 degrees rotation, what happens? This corner functional group is moving from one carbon to second carbon, 90 degrees rotation. Second carbon to third carbon also 90 degrees rotation, so that this group will reach this opposite position. In the same way, all the groups are reaching their opposite positions. This is about the molecule after rotation. Okay, what we have to do? We have to reflect. Means we have to keep one mirror. So we have to keep one mirror upon this. When mirror kept on this, so these two are reflecting like a mirror images. Okay, so this is down, right? COH group is down at this position. Now, when we keep the mirror, so in the mirror, the COH group looks up. That's the reason why after rotation, if two isomers are mirror images, if two isomers are reflected to each other, now that is called alternate axis of symmetry, which is also called as rotation followed by reflection symmetry. Rotation followed by reflection symmetry is denoted with SN. N stands for number of rotations we are doing. How many rotations we are doing in this molecule, that is N. Okay. So those who are joined lately can indicate their roll numbers in the chat box. Okay, so now we have to count what is that Sn, n number. That calculation of Sn is given by the formula 360 by n. So 360 by n, in the sense 360 is nothing but number of rotation. If we are rotating the molecule 360 degrees, what happens? We will get identical molecule. Okay, 360 degrees rotation, whatever group is there, same group reaches the same place. Okay, so what we are doing, 360 by n. N in the sense number of rotations we are doing. We are doing 180 degrees rotation. That's the reason why 360 by 180. What happens? 180 2 is a 360. Then multiplicity value is 2. Nothing but, which is called S2 axis of symmetry. This is called S2 axis of symmetry, which is calculated by taking 360 by n. N stands for how many degrees we are rotating. Here 180 degrees rotation, that's the reason why 360 by 180. What we have to do? Rotation, after rotation, molecule should be reflected with mirror. When both the molecules are identical with reflection, that is called alternate axis of symmetry. This is called alternate axis of symmetry. Okay, so now let us go for, these are the three different symmetry elements. One is plane of symmetry. Plane of symmetry is nothing but any plane which used to cut the molecule into equal halves is called a plane of symmetry. There is a possibility of vertical plane, otherwise horizontal plane. Vertical plane used to cut the molecule into halves, identical halves, so which is indicated with sigma V. Okay, horizontal plane, so when we are bisecting the molecule on the axis, that is called sigma H. Okay, and the second is about center of symmetry. If we are drawing the two hypothetical lines in opposite direction, if those two lines are reaching identical functional groups in the opposite direction, that is called, so that is called the center of symmetry. When we are taking benzene molecule, in that benzene molecule, here all the 6 corners have carbon hydrogen only. That's the reason why benzene is simple example for center of symmetry. So third is about alternate axis of symmetry. So alternate axis of symmetry in the sense, first molecule is subjected to rotation. After rotation, if it is reflected exactly as its mirror image, when we are keeping a mirror, so if both the molecule before rotation, after rotation, if both isomers are mirror images, now the molecule is said to possess alternate axis of symmetry. In order to calculate its multiplicity, we have to use the formula 360 by n. N stands for number of rotations, number of degrees of rotations we are doing. 360 by 180 in case of this molecule, it is S2 axis of symmetry. Okay, now we are going to discuss about so this is another example for that alternate axis of symmetry. The simple example we discussed already. So this is the second example which is given here, alternate axis of symmetry. Rotation followed by mirror images. So that's the reason why here twofold alternate axis of symmetry is there. Next is about, yesterday we discussed what is mean by chirality and what is chiral center. The compulsory condition in order to exhibit optical activity, the molecule should be chiral and the molecule should possess chiral center. What is chiral center means? If carbon contains 4 different functional groups around that, that is called a chiral center. This is the carbon. We have hydrogen, fluorine, bromine, hydroxy. 4 different groups are there. Hence, we can say this is the best example for chiral center. Now, this exhibit optical activity. If we are replacing with this fluorine with hydrogen, here hydrogen, here also hydrogen, that becomes achiral and the molecule becomes optically inactive. Okay, so in this way, chiral center is very essential for the optical activity of the compound. If the chiral center is there, the molecule is called asymmetric. Asymmetric in the sense there is no any symmetry element. Just now we discussed about symmetry elements. All those symmetry elements are absent when the compound is chiral in nature. Okay, so here chiral is nothing but handedness. When we are taking one hand, it is not exactly mirror image of second hand. When we are taking one hand, second hand, both are non superimposable. This is called handedness or chirality. Sorry. Next, see, when we are taking this molecule, for example, carbon, which have COH functional group, R group, NH2 group, and one side hydrogen is there. And second carbon also have R group, but R group here right hand side, here R group is left hand side. COH, COH, NH2, NH2H. This is called chiral, and this is also called chiral, and both have handed relationship. Handed relationship is also called as mirror image relationship. Both are called chiral molecules. Both are called chiral isomers actually. So this is about the chirality and handedness between two isomers present. Next, let us see what is optical activity. Yesterday only we started optical isomers, enantiomers and diastereomers. Both are the examples for optical isomers only. Then what is mean by optical activity? This term we have to know now. Okay. Optical rotation or optical activity is the rotation of orientation of plane polarized light. Okay. I'll show what is plane polarized light. Here, when we are taking any light, light have the natural light having tendency to reflect in all possible directions. Natural light have reflection in all possible directions. Let us take one simple example. One dark room we are taking. In the dark room, when we switch on the light, that light will disperse in all possible direction of the room. The room will get illumination equally. Intensity of light will be equal throughout the room. So that is the nature of light. But when we are passing this light through the polarizer, this is the device. Otherwise, we can take nickel prism also. Either nickel prism or polarizer when taken and inserted in front of this natural light, what happens? Light passing in all possible directions now converted into single beam or unidirectional beam. Okay, so that is nothing but the light is moving only in one possible direction. This is called a plane polarized light. Plane polarized light is nothing but which have single path, not in all possible direction. If the light is moving only in one direction, unidirectional, that is called a plane polarized light. Natural light can be converted into plane polarized light by placing either polarizer or nickel prism. Okay, so when any compound is irradiated with plane polarized light, so this is a plane polarized light. That plane polarized light when passed through the given compound, if compound able to rotate this light either towards right hand side or left hand side, the compound is said to be optically active. Okay, if rotation of plane polarized light is possible after passing through the compound, that is called a optically active compound. If there is no rotation, that is called optically inactive compound. If so, after passing through the compound also, if there is no change in the direction of plane polarized light, now the compound is called optically inactive. Then how can we define optical activity? Any compound is irradiated with plane polarized light if the light is rotated towards right side or left side, the compound is said to be optically active. If light is not rotated towards right or left, it is moving as such. Now the compound is said to be optically inactive. What is plane polarized light? Plane polarized light is nothing but the light which have only one direction of movement. Light which have only one direction of movement is called single path or unidirectional is called plane polarized light. Now, normal light is converted into plane polarized light by passing through polarizer. Now, let us see how can we measure this optical rotation. How can we measure how extent the light is rotated and what is the process? Okay, so measurement of optical rotation. So that is also called as optical rotation is also called as specific rotation. The specific rotation is denoted with alpha. This alpha is the important characteristic property of all chiral molecules. When we are taking optically active or chiral molecules, they possess a characteristic specific rotation value. It is denoted as, it is defined as when monochromatic plane polarized light per unit distance concentration product as the light passes through the sample of the compound in the solution. Okay, so how can we define the specific rotation? When unit concentration, either we can take 1 molar or 1 normal solution in a container, through that we have to pass monochromatic light. How much distance it is passing, how much rotation it is passing, that is called its a specific rotation. Okay, unit concentrated, so unit concentrated solution, we are passing plain polarized light per unit distance. That property of chiral center. Yes. So change in its orientation, how extent it is rotating, that is called its a specific rotation. Okay, so we have formula for the determination of specific rotation value. I will show the formula. If plane polarized light is rotated, then only the compound is said to be optically active. Optical rotation or specific rotation is measured by the instrument that is called a polarimeter. What is polarimeter? Polarimeter is used to measure the specific rotation value. Okay, so whether the compound is optically active or inactive can be measured by the device called polarimeter. Polarimeter is mainly used to measure this optical activity. Next, let us see what are the okay, what is the formula for the calculation of this specific rotation? Here we have alpha within the square bracket is equal to alpha by CL. Here specific rotation is equal to observed rotation by its concentration into L stands for path length, length of the tube in decimeter. Okay, so specific rotation is equal to observed rotation in the sense how extent it is rotating. For example, 50 degrees rotation is there, that 50 degrees was taken as alpha. If the concentration is 1 molar, C should be indicated as 1 molar concentration. Length, L is nothing but length. So we are taking sample in a tube. That tube length we have to consider as L. Okay. So specific rotation is equal to alpha by C into L. Specific rotation is equal to alpha by C into L. So this is about specific rotation and its calculation. Here alpha is measured rotation in degrees, L is the path length in decimeters, C is the concentration of the sample at the given temperature, and the wavelength we are taking a specific wavelength, that is 589 nanometers. Now let us see the what optically active compounds can be denoted with RS nomenclature. Geometrical isomers are denoted with EZ nomenclature, whereas optical isomers are denoted with RS nomenclature. So this RS nomenclature is most important for optical isomers, either enantiomers or diastereomers. In both the case, this RS nomenclature is valid. Okay, this RS nomenclature is also called as absolute configuration. Absolute configuration is measured by is defined as absolute configuration is nothing but spatial arrangement of atoms of chiral molecule or chiral entity in the stereochemical description. Okay, spatial arrangement in the sense when we are taking chiral carbon atom, around this chiral carbon atom, what is the arrangement of 4 different functional groups? Okay, what is the priority of those 4 different functional groups? that is denoted by this absolute configuration. Absolute configuration is mainly used to define the position of functional groups around the carbon atom, around the chiral carbon atom. Okay. So, for example, let us take these two examples. This is the carbon atom, first functional group, second functional group, third functional group, and fourth functional groups are there. From 1 to 2, 2 to 3, we are rotating the molecule in this direction. What is the rotation? Whether it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. So, here, fourth priority group is not considered in this molecule. If carbon is surrounded by 4 different functional groups, let us indicate numbering 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. First carbon to second carbon, if we are moving in anti-clockwise rotation, that is denoted with S. S stands for sinister. Sinister is nothing but left hand side rotation. Okay. So, in the second condition, if the 4 functional groups around the carbon are indicated as 1, 2, 3, 4, when we are rotating the priority order from 1 to 2, 2 to 3 in this direction, this is called clockwise rotation. Right hand side rotation or clockwise rotation. So right hand side rotation is denoted with R. R stands for rectus. Rectus is nothing but right hand side. Sinister is nothing but left hand side. Okay. Clockwise rotation is always called R configuration. Anti-clockwise rotation is always called as S configuration. Again, here we have selection rules or what Kohn-Ingold-Prelog rules for the determination of which functional group is 1, which functional group is 2, which functional group is 3 and 4. In order to give this numbering, we have to use Kohn-Ingold-Prelog rules here. Okay. So those Kohn-Ingold-Prelog rules, which are exactly similar as we discussed for geometrical isomers. Okay. So in this, S stands for sinister, R stands for rectus. Sinister is nothing but left side, rectus is nothing but right side. Okay. So these RS notations are mainly governed by the principles called Kohn-Ingold-Prelog priority rules, which are also called CIP rules, simply called CIP rules. We have CIP rules in detail here. As already we discussed in geometrical isomers, higher atomic number have higher priority. Higher atomic number have higher priority. So when we are taking a simple example, that is iodo, bromo, chloro. Iodo is higher atomic weight compared to bromo, compared to chloro. That's the reason why this is about the priority order. This is mainly based on their atomic number. Higher atomic number, that is given as number 1. Second atomic number, number 2, number 3, like that we have to give. And the second rule, if there is a tie, we must consider atoms. So within 2 minutes, this what meeting will be completed. Again, we will meet at 3:10 with your second link. Okay. So I'm going to continue with these rules. So after this, at 3:10, you have to join with the second link. Okay. So second rule is, if there is a tie for the first group, so first directly linked group is carbon in both the cases. Now priority is given to next atom present on that functional group. That is given like this. If carbon attached with chlorine and carbon attached with OH, chlorine get first priority over OH and NH2 will get least priority over OH. Next is CH3, next is H3. This is about similar carbon is directly linked. Now the priority is given to second atom or second group present on that. This is the second CIP rule. Madam, now it is going to be finished and the next 3:10 session we have.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
That's it. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. In case of isotopes, here tritium, deuterium, hydrogen. In case of isotopes, larger atomic mass is used for higher priority. Okay, isotopes. So all in case of isotopes, higher the atomic mass, greater will be the priority. Tritium atomic mass is 3, deuterium 2, hydrogen 1. That's the reason why order will be tritium to deuterium to hydrogen. And the next is about when we are taking the chiral carbon attached with triple, double and single bond. Triple bond will get priority over double bond and the next single bond. This is about the priority order if the chiral carbon is linked with triple, double and single bond. Triple bond always gets priority over double and followed by single. Now, next is about bond pair and lone pair of electrons when present. So, if carbon is attached with bond pair, nothing but any directly linked bond. Otherwise, it is attached with lone pair of electrons. For example, nitrogen contains one lone pair. Always, we have to give the priority to bond pair compared to lone pair. Bond pair will get first priority, lone pair will get second priority. And the next is about while seeing the molecule, the compulsory condition is lowest priority group should be away from the viewer. So, we have to keep the molecule in that. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 numbering is given for 4 different functional groups. In those 4 different functional groups, that lowest priority group, that means 4th priority group should be away from the viewer. And when we are moving from first priority group to second followed by third, if the movement is in clockwise direction, that is called R enantiomer. If it is counterclockwise, nothing but anti-clockwise direction, that is called S enantiomer. And there is a representation with wedge bonds. Wedge bond is nothing but the group which is away from the viewer. Wedge bond is nothing but dotted lines bond. So that is indicated as the group which is away from the viewer. When we are seeing from this side, the group is opposite side to us. Okay. Then, sorry. Wedge bond is nothing but thick bond or strong bond which is towards the viewer, whereas dashed bond is nothing